why is the Switch 2 doing so well? To me, it doesn't make sense.
Why?
Because
The other game's 10 years old. The Switch 1's 10 years old, man.
but we don't that's the point though, right? Like Mario Kart is just a rehash. Like there's nothing revolutionary about Mario Kart World.
Hmm.
Or do you think there is? The Nintendo Switch has been out for a couple of weeks now, and Nintendo's reporting some 3.5 million units worldwide in the first 4 days. And so
It
I'm
beat
sure,
the PlayStation.
I don't know that they say that they beat the Switch, original Switch.
Yeah. And they beat the Wii, didn't they?
Yeah, they beat the Wii. PlayStation 2 is still the best selling console of all time. And so it begs the question, will the Nintendo Switch outpace everything?
So I think they have the handheld going for them because Nintendo DS always sold pretty well. But there's no DS now, right? So this
Right.
is the DS.
But I also think it has the unfair advantage that there's just no competition with it right now.
You really think? Oh, so you're thinking the Xbox handheld is going to hold it back?
No, I think because Microsoft, I think that the Xbox handheld Ally thing is going to be dead on arrival.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah, me
think
too.
I don't think it's going to disrupt the market in any way, shape, or form. It's an existing product. They just put some lipstick on it and calling it a day, and that's the lazy way to try to disrupt the market.
Yeah.
So that's not going to happen.
No, it's like the Steam Deck didn't really revolutionize anything. I only know one person that has a Steam Deck in my own personal life.
Yeah. And Sony with whatever the heck they did with that PlayStation, what did they call it? No, wasn't
PlayStation P, PSP, portable.
did they redo it as remember? So they did this adapter that has like a screen and it has the PlayStation 5 controllers on it.
Hmm.
I forget what that thing was called, but that was a dumb idea because you still need to be connected to a PlayStation 5 to play.
Oh, that was recent. See, I didn't even hear about that.
You didn't know, yeah. Let's go to PlayStation5.com and then we'll do a little screen sharing here. But yeah, no, I think Sony had an opportunity to do something cool here, and they dropped the ball. And Microsoft dropped the ball, so there's definitely no competition. Look at this; it's not even like in their main website. Like, where the heck is it? Accessories, maybe? Yeah, because it's not even a console. This thing right here, the PlayStation Portal.
Oh, wow. That
You ever
looks
hear
like
about
a
it?
Switch. No, it looks like a Switch though.
It is, but it's not, right? So what it is, it gives you the ability that like if your spouse or somebody is hogging the TV, you still need a PlayStation 5 and then you can like play on the go, but as long as your go is within Wi-Fi range of your PlayStation 5.
So it's a Switch restricted inside your house.
Basically. Yeah. But you still need a PS5 on top of this.
That's true.
It's
Wow.
like a mobile controller with it was like the dumbest thing in the world. Like I feel like they could have done something here, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Right? And so this would have been something this I would have like if this was like PlayStation like PSP level gaming, like this would have been cool. If Microsoft would have come up with something like this, but with like Xbox Game Pass, that would have been cool.
Well, I think I heard that Xbox was going to make their own handheld, but then decided to just go with Asus. Is that who's helping them with it?
Yeah.
So they just passed the baton instead of making it in house. That's why it's their console, but just branded Xbox.
But Microsoft has the technology. Like that was so silly of them. Like all you're doing is you split an Xbox controller in half, right?
You stick a
That's
screen in there.
because this is I mean, when you go look at a PlayStation controller, that's all this thing is just a PlayStation controller cut in half. Like
Yeah.
literally right down the middle, right? And then you put like a nice little tablet.
OLED.
Yeah, you put like a nice little OLED tablet that's off the shelf and it runs like an NVIDIA Tegra chip or something, right? Whatever NVIDIA's got with their newer chips with that, because they could get the same chip that the Switch 2 has.
But it'll be outdated pretty quick.
And but then the games are on the cloud, so you don't need on board processing that much.
Mm.
And so Microsoft dropped the ball by not doing this. Sony dropped the ball by making this only work with the existing PlayStation. And so I don't think Nintendo's got any competition.
So I think it's gonna eventually take over. I'm telling you, man. The games I'm watching more and more people rate Switch original games played on Switch 2, and it's like getting free upgrades across the board.
But now that's the point that I don't get. Like, why is the Switch 2 doing so well? To me, it doesn't make sense.
Why?
Because
The other game's 10 years old. The Switch One's 10 years old, man.
but we don't that's the point though, right? Like Mario Kart is just a rehash. Like there's nothing revolutionary about Mario Kart World.
Hmm.
Or do you think there is?
Knockout Tour is pretty cool.
Okay, so that's one key feature for the few people in the Nintendo space that play online.
No, it's actually an offline game too. I did not know that, but Tony was winning, and I'm like, wow, you're really good. I couldn't win. And then once he finished the whole thing, it's like, you were offline playing this? I thought he was playing against other players. I'm like, you're destroying these guys.
So who was he destroying himself with? Just
He was playing computer, and they were
computer.
just progressively getting harder as he got closer to the end. Like, wow. I'm like, dude, you're destroying him. I always got knocked out by now. But
Okay, so one new game mode, but the mechanic is still mostly the same.
if anything, it's dumbed down, but people like that because it's more double dash feeling instead of Mario Kart 8, with all the space effects, zero gravity, and all that.
Yeah.
So it's dumbed down for sure,
but again, nothing we haven't seen before.
Yeah, and same thing with Call of Duty though. Call of Duty sells out every year, and it's the same thing over and over.
But you don't launch a console with the Call of Duty game.
Tell that to Xbox. Once they bought Activision, remember?
Yeah, but I guess the point I'm trying to say is like Nintendo, yeah, they got a Mario Kart game. Awesome. I mean, I'm buying it with the Mario Kart game, right? But that was it. There weren't any other games that you can get that were exclusive to the launch.
That's what I'm saying. This game, buying the Switch 2, is like getting a free upgrade to all your other previous titles that you already own.
But that's counterintuitive, Danny. That is unprecedented. Nobody bought a Wii U because you get upgrades from the Wii. Nobody bought a Switch because you get upgrades from the Wii U.
That's the best part about it. It's new. It's awesome. I love it. I mean, it's cool to see the YouTube videos that show up where they compare left side of the screens, Switch 1, right side of the screen, Switch 2, and then everyone's just like, wow. It's like, look at that. That's pretty interesting.
I don't know, Danny. I'm not sold on the gimmick that you have to invest almost $500 on a new console just so you can play the games you've had for the last 10 years in high definition.
Oh, people do that all the time when they upgrade their PCs. Like I spend another $2,000 get a new PC, and it's like, let me still play the same old Fortnite and League of Legends. And wow, I'm always blown away by the upgrades, And
maybe I'm from a different generation, but that is not yelling at me, go spend $500.
What would you want to spend $500 on?
New IP. I mean, even if like this Donkey Kong Bonanza, I would love to play this game.
Yeah, it looks good. Looks like something that
but this game is 6 weeks too late.
Is it too late, or is it still selling? It's feel like
that was my opening statement. I don't understand why the Switch 2 is doing so well.
Oh, well.
It launches with one new game. All the other games are updated. I wouldn't even say upgraded, but updated graphics of your existing game library.
Yeah.
And there's nothing new to play.
Yeah.
And Donkey Kong, like I said, is 6 weeks too late.
I think the Donkey Kong game looks pretty cool, though. Do you see it?
I think it's going to be amazing. But like I said, I may now wait. Like my plan is to wait until July 17th when Donkey Kong comes out to then actually try to find a Switch too.
Yeah. Well, so I think in Nintendo's like overall bottom line, it doesn't matter if you wait a month because it's still in the same fiscal thing, right?
No, I get that, but I just Danny, I just don't understand the hype. Why is it the fastest selling console?
I think you need to understand the hype, Alex. I think I understand the hype because I bought it.
Yeah, but you were gonna buy it regardless.
Well, why?
Even if it had no games.
Well, why? All right, answer the question. Why would I buy the Switch? You tell me as an outsider. Why did I buy the
That's
Switch?
an easy one. You just like to have the latest and greatest.
Why?
I don't know, Danny.
That's what you're missing. That's why everyone has upgraded Switches and stuff, because you don't understand why we're getting the latest and greatest.
I get why you get a new consoles for the new games. I would not be getting a new
That's not
console.
why I got the Switch for the new games. The only
Why?
game I'm excited for is
Metro
new
Prime 4.
Pokemon and Metro
Yes, we
Prime
know.
4, and those are months away. I got the Switch too because it upgrades the old games. Check it
But
out.
why do you care about upgrading your old games?
That's a hard question, but I will say this: when I play Mario Kart Double Dash in your room, connected to the GameCube, there's input lag, and I really like. Me and Tony were looking at each other like, man, you gotta like kind of address, like figure out how to play with the old GameCube.
But that input lag I would attribute to the TV, not to the game itself.
But think about it like this: I can also just get the Switch 2, and now everything just runs better. Everything feels nicer. I'm playing old Pokemon again, like not old, but Scarlet and Violet, because it runs better, more Pokemon spawns. I'm playing Pokemon Unite. I was telling my wife I was on Pokemon Unite for like 2 weeks straight, and I'm like, dude, this game is just a whole new game for me, because I can see who's playing Switch, and I'm playing Switch 2, and just see my bar load up, and I'm like, wait for them to catch up. It's just a fun feeling,
So then, what would it take for companies like a Microsoft, your Nintendos, and your Sonys to just make a box that you buy every few years, but your game history literally travels with you through time?
I think Xbox does do that.
They were doing it at the beginning, but it was select few, right? Because you could play some Xbox games, some Xbox 360 games.
I think they do it now currently though, because Xbox One to the Xbox One X to the Xbox Series X or whatever the highest one is, that whole generation, those are forward compatible.
But not for every game.
It should be for every game, because they're competing with Steam. I think Steam and Epic Games is the one forcing them to you have to be able to play old games wherever you want, because I can do that on my PC. So why wouldn't I be able to do it on the Xbox? You know what I mean? They have to do it. So they have every game.
There was a long list of excluded games
On Xbox Series X?
Yeah. Watch. Play an original Xbox. So, let's see. Excluded titles. Games that require a Kinect sensor. You can't play.
Well, they shot themselves there.
All right. So I remember this. See the full list of original Xbox games that are playing on the 360. So I remember this part. Like this.
Okay, from Xbox to 360, sure, but the Steam itself on PC wasn't a competitor yet. So they're just, the Xbox consoles are still winning. Now you got to compete with PCs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think ever again will Nintendo release a new console that isn't backwards compatible with every single game they've had. I don't think they'll ever do it again.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that the Switch 3 or the next Nintendo product that comes out in 5 to 7 years is going to have every game from Switch 2, and then the new console. It's going to have to do that, because I think Steam, being as old as it is, and I can play any game I want that I've downloaded in the past 10 years, I think they're competing with that type of market.
Right, but there's a fundamental difference there, though, Danny, right? Because Steam, the platform hasn't changed.
Exactly. Now Nintendo is changing to look like that. They have to keep
but you're still, but that's what I'm saying. So, but that's where Xbox Cloud Gaming makes more sense, because
Xbox Cloud Gaming is basically Steam.
But that's all it is.
Exactly. That's where they're all going towards. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't really matter. Now, Switch is just the first one to do it. Well, not the first one to do it. I'm pretty sure Xbox One, Xbox Series X is the same type of leap that we just saw with Switch 1 and 2. It's just better graphics, but every game I can play on Xbox One, I can play on Series X. It's the same thing. It's like, why would I get an Xbox One and then buy an Xbox Series X? Because it's better.
Right.
Why'd you get the Switch 1 to the Switch 2? Because it's better.
That makes more sense to me.
You see what I mean? That's the argument I'm
But
saying. It's like
but now this is where I have the fundamental problem though. Why would I spend $500 on the Switch 2 though?
that's what I'm saying to you. It's like because you don't find any fun games that you want to play that you are currently playing. So okay, here.
I would play those original games still on my original console that I'm on.
Yeah, but look at this like this. So Xbox One has, let's say, for example, it's not there, but Halo 4, and it was awesome. Now, if you told me, and then it's my favorite game, right? Halo 4. It's not, but it's my favorite game ever. It's on Xbox One, and then you tell me 5 years later, Xbox Series X is going to upgrade every old game, and it's $500, which it was, right? Switch 2, and I can play Halo 4 again, but it's better frame rate. There's no lag. There's no drop. Because remember, the Switch 1 was really underpowered. So everything is like huge. Like, but just pretend. It's like, I'm there to here now. And then my Halo 4 is my favorite game ever. I'm doing that jump. I'm going to do it. But for the Switch, for me, it's the Pokemon titles. Only Nintendo has Pokemon titles. And as long as they have that, I'm always going to buy Nintendo. If they don't have Pokemon, I might get it for Metroid, but not.
Yeah,
It's not really it.
I see what you're saying. This it's just an interesting philosophy. Like, I don't know. I guess going back to the Steam analogy a little bit, right? Like,
Yeah,
it makes sense because you never left Windows as a platform.
never.
Yeah, you're upgrading your computer and your graphics are being rendered, but it's still on the developer. The onus is still on the developer to improve the game for the latest graphics. No.
Yeah. So, like, for example, Fortnite came out in 2018. But when I play Fortnite now, it has the latest and greatest in NVIDIA. I can turn on ray tracing. I can turn on everything. I can't because I don't have the best graphics card, but you probably could. And your Fortnite would look amazing compared to someone that's playing Fortnite on the Switch original. That's why I like. That's why I think every game needs to be progressively worked on. You know what I mean? That's why I think it's cool.
But there's money involved there, though, right? What incentive does the developer have?
Not necessarily. I mean, the Switch 2 upgraded every old game just by being better hardware.
No, not necessarily, because some of them are paid upgrades.
That's something that they are locking on their own end. But Pokemon Unite, the game I'm playing, did not have an upgrade pack anywhere. It was even free or paid.
It's on the developer at that point, though.
Yeah, well, I think the developer, like Cyberpunk, putting their game on Switch 2, they knew they're going to go in there and work on it to make it better for Switch 2, right? So now I think they just got to look at Switch 2 as a console that's going to get upgraded to Switch 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I bet you if I put in Animal Crossing right now on Switch 2 and I play it and I run it, look at those YouTube videos side by side from Switch 1. Animal Crossing is going to run a lot better just because the hardware is better. It's
interesting. So then the question, and now the real question is, what happens to secondhand market for Nintendo Switch? What's the point of having an original Switch?
There is no point. That's why everyone got super mad when the guy said, if you can't afford a Switch 2, we have a product for you. It's called Switch. Because he was trying to make the argument that, like I'm saying, the games are compatible to both. It doesn't matter. Like, even Metroid is going to come out on Switch. Even, I don't know about Donkey Kong, but most of them are going to come out on both. Some of them only can come out on Switch 2. And those are the ones that are going to be higher everything. You know, like they can't be backwards compatible. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a moment here in history where it's like a moving forward, but you can't go backwards. Like, I can't, I don't know. It's interesting.